rights suit filed by the suspended and detained governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. Emefiele filed the suit through his lawyer, J.B. Daudu, to demand his freedom, alleging that the DSS had been detaining him unlawfully. The DSS, through its counsel, filed a preliminary objection in opposition to the suit. Awo on Tuesday told Justice Hamza Muazu that Emefiele's detention was lawful as the DSS had got an order of an FCT Chief Magistrate Court to keep the suspended Central Bank of Nigeria governor in custody pending the conclusion of investigation. The lawyer urged the court to dismiss the suit and award a fine against Emefiele. The DSS had on June 9 arrested Emefiele in Lagos shortly after President Bola Tinubu suspended him from office and ordered a probe of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Newly appointed Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun says he feels like a tiger ready to chase away all the criminals in Nigeria. He stated this during a chat with the State House correspondent on Tuesday after his decoration with the rank of IGP. IGP Egbetokun expressed his feelings about his new responsibility, stating that he is looking forward to taking over.
I really can't describe how I feel presently, but if I have to tell you anything, I will tell you that right now, I feel like a tiger inside of me, ready to chase away all the criminals in Nigeria. And some other time, I feel like a lion in me, ready to devour all the enemies, internal enemies.
The presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, his running mate Ifeanyi Okowa, as well as aggrieved members of the Integrity Group, led by former Governor Nyesom Wike, were all missing at the meeting of a select committee of the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party at the party's secretariat on Tuesday. PDP's National Organizing Secretary Umar Bature said the meeting was called to douse tension and kickstart reconciliation within the party in the aftermath of the election. He said its members contributed to the outcome of the 2023 general elections and should be wary of pointing fingers at others. He said the party would not apportion blame, suspend, expel, or accuse anybody of participating in pro- or anti-party activities during the last general elections.
This meeting is going to be an interactive session, and I want us to be cautious of the fact that while making your contribution, we should be mindful of the fact that we are one family. Contribute in a manner that will not have the sensibility of this. Everybody here knows what happened in 2023. We contributed individually, we contributed collectively. So what Mr. Chairman said is, if you rise to speak, I beg you to state your own role in 2023 elections.
The United Nations Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator Matthias Schmil has lamented the misuse of digital platforms to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate speeches to billions of people. Speaking at a media roundtable on hate speech in Abuja, Schmil said the United Nations is worried about the impact of hate speech on society and that it will soon come up with a code of conduct for information integrity to detail commitments by the United Nations member states to protect human rights, especially freedom of expression and information, while also protecting people, especially vulnerable communities, from the excesses of the information ecosystem pollution. He disclosed that the world today faces an increasingly polluted information ecosystem and that the proliferation of misinformation, fake news, disinformation, and hate speech in the digital space is causing grave global harm right now.
hate speech has fueled conflicts, has threatened and undermines human rights and efforts to build inclusive and just societies. Hate speech is not only used to distract from important social issues, but often to stoke fear and division, inciting violence and exacerbating tensions. Unfortunately, social media and digital platforms in particular are being used to spread disinformation and hate to considerable numbers of people around the globe.
The United Nations has allocated $20 million to urgently ramp up the response to the alarming food security and nutrition crisis in the northeast of Nigeria. United Nations Deputy Spokesperson Farhan Haq disclosed this at a news conference on Tuesday at the United Nations headquarters in New York City. According to humanitarian partners, almost 700,000 children under 5 are likely to suffer from life-threatening, severe acute malnutrition this year in this region, and more than 500,000 people may face emergency levels of food insecurity during the lean season from June to August. Hack said that the emergency funding would help to jumpstart the response, but humanitarian partners need more to prevent widespread hunger and malnutrition. The federal and Enugu state governments say they will partner to complete and operationalize the international wing of the Akanu Ibam International Airport. This will include building a cargo terminal to boost the state's and nation's economy and tourism capacity. Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria CEO Kabir Mohammed and Governor Peter Mba disclosed this on Monday in Enugu. The duo toured the ongoing international terminal building and the proposed site for the international cargo terminal of the airport. Speaking to journalists, the governor said the operations of the international terminal and construction of the cargo terminal and warehouse at the airport were critical to Enugu's drive for a $30 billion economy. He described them as enablers of investments and key economic activities in Enugu.
As you can see, the international wing is almost complete. We need to have it operationalized. Again, if you look at the huge economic development plan that we have expressed to our people, what is called there is tourism. Tourism, we're looking at attracting over 3 million visitors to Enugu yearly. That cannot happen just by driving through the road. It is going to occur by flying, getting people from across the different parts of the world to come to Enugu.
The presidential elections petition court on Tuesday asked the Labour Party to present proof that it served the Independent National Electoral Commission's resident electoral commissioners across the country to provide electoral documents. This is the submission made by the court as the Labour Party insisted that the electoral body was frustrating its case by deliberately evading summons. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, was present alongside some members of the party to witness the proceedings on Tuesday. Onto the foreign scene, reports from Sudan say fighting has broken out in all parts of the capital just before a 3-day ceasefire expired early in the morning. Witnesses say the Sudanese army and the rival Rapid Support Forces clashed in Khartoum. There are also reports of anti-aircraft fire during an army aircraft operation in Omdurman. That's the Citizen FM news at noon. I am Philomena Okolo. Do stay with us.
We teach girls shame. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights.
But it is about opening spaces for other women and not to be seen as token, and that because I'm a woman, I'm only speaking about women at the table. No, I'm speaking about side of the table that is empty and that women have to be there. So
I want us to leave this world better than we found it. And how I choose to affect change is by speaking up, by being the first and by being the dominant.
Over 4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss
the issues. Everybody respected that because it was coming from the president.
Purely behind it, the way the people took the battle in their hands.
Some civil servant